Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of our EAFC 25 RTG career mode here with Stoke City in what could be the final episode of the save today, as we're going to play out the FA Cup and Champions League finals, having already wrapped up the Premier League in the previous episode. We also reached the Champions League final, where we'll take on Borussia Dortmund. That will come up next, but first we travel to Wembley to take on Liverpool in the FA Cup final. As I say, I want a natural conclusion to this save, so I'm not going to force another season if we don't need one, but if I do feel like we have unfinished business, then of course we will jump into one more. So it all sort of depends how we get on today, and jumping into our first game, our first final of the finale as we travel to Wembley to take on Liverpool. Come on the Potters. Yep, so here we are back at Wembley for another domestic cup final, and just as we head into this, I just want to say, guys, I apologise if you can hear my fan humming in the background. It is so warm at the moment at the time of recording, and my office is like an absolute sweatbox, so I've had to put the fan on. I've caved in, and I'm sorry if you guys can hear the humming in the background, but it won't be forever. It is just whilst this heat is here as Oscarson! Get in! What a start! Lovely patient build-up from Stoke, looking to avenge our demons of that League Cup final loss to Manchester City. And it's the Ice Boys linking up. Haraldson through to Oscarson, and he drills past Mamardashvili to give us the lead. Come on. Frimpong, well defended, Boz. I tell you what, in these opening 18 minutes, we've defended really well. Had a couple of one-on-one moments where Liverpool have looked to get at our defence, and we've defended them really well as Boz keeps that in play. Oscarson is really strong, and there's Boz. And Anthony Elanga for two. It's off the woodwork as we were so close to doubling our advantage. There's Max Aaron sweeping this time. Tell you what, we are locked in defensively today. Still a long way to go, but it's one of those games where it just feels like we're going to have that Liverpool attack on lock as Oscarson slides through Bay. Bay gets there, goes for the dink. Oh, it's off the woodwork again. Well, Liverpool will get us underway for the second half here, and we've been by far the superior team in that first half, leading by one and hitting the woodwork twice as well. Crossbar once and the post once as well. And if we do grab that second goal, it is a long way back for Liverpool, but it's not done yet as Oscarson looks for Haraldson and looks to return the favour. There's Max Aarons on the left peg, looks to bend one. Better from Liverpool. Trincao floats it out to Molina. Boz does well, but then gets beaten. Lukeba gets a touch on it. Can't get my player sorting out. And I might need Bilal for the first time today. And that is the importance of having a world-class goalkeeper. He's not been called upon at all, but when he is, he's there to make the save. Jordan Boz. And the Aussie looks to take on Chouameni for pace. Still Boz, lovely feet, and Bay, and Oscarson, and Boz has carried on his run. Jordan Boz lets fly, and it's the other fullback this time, denied by Mamardashvili. Second half really springing into life here as Elanga finds Oscarson for two. Big block, Lukeba. Oh, what a time to get your first goal for Stoke City. Costello Lukeba up from the back for the corner, and he may have just secured it for Stoke. Kone still has it, and there's Singo in the way. He's been a brick wall today, man. Kone does get away and flashes the shot in, but it is not going to matter as it drifts wide of the post, and Stoke City are your FA Cup champions this season. And we deserved it as well. Oscarson set the pace early with that goal, almost straight from kickoff. And we controlled the game. We had one little scare where Bilal had to bail us out. But Lukeba's goal in the second half, his first for the club, secured the trophy for Stoke City. and ensures that at the very minimum we will be ending off the season with a domestic double. We've still got that Champions League final to come as we look to win a historic treble, but the old school FA Cup is ours. I'm not sure if Stoke City have ever won this before in their history. I might have to go and have a look at that, but it will be the skipper to lift the FA Cup, his second trophy in a matter of weeks, as Stoke City are your FA Cup champions. Well, what a victory for Stoke City at Wembley, getting our hands on the FA Cup. And I've just had a quick little Google. Stoke City's only major trophy to date is the League Cup, which they won in 1972, beating my boys Chelsea in the final. So it's a bit of a historic moment for the Potters, but this season you would say has definitely been the best in the club's history. Premier League champions for the first time, FA Cup champions for the first time, and now looking to win a treble with the Champions League final as we take on Borussia Dortmund. It could be the final game of the save. I'm honestly not sure. If we lose, it might still be the end. If we win, I'm pretty confident it will be, because that is the fairy tale ending. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure yet, but we've just got to focus on the task at hand. We've got to make sure we get our hands on the trophy, and it will be a historic treble for the Potters. So jumping into it then, let's just dive straight in. We'll then have a look around the other European competitions, a quick look through the other leagues, and a final look through the squad hub for this season as well. So Champions League final against Borussia Dortmund at the Olympiastadion. Come on, the Potters. Yeah, Dortmund here looking for their second Champions League win after they won the competition in 1997. And of course for Stoke City, our first time playing in the competition and reaching the final as well. I did not expect our progress to come this quickly, but with the way the team has developed, I can't be that surprised that it has come. As Jaden heads away that header, it'll come for... Oh, that is some strike by Haraldson on the edge, but expecting a tense and cagey game, and it's been pretty open in the opening stages as Boz on his left foot finds the skipper. How he would love to score the winning goal, as he's denied by Cabell once again. Elanga's corner into Gravenberg, and Oskarsson picks up the loose ball, looks to bend one. It'll come for Singo, who's denied as he looked to join Lukeba in scoring in a cup final, but early pressure from Stoke City on that Dortmund goal. Yeah, Dortmund only one Champions League trophy in the cabinet, but they have been to two other finals, quite memorable ones as well. 2013 they lost to Bayern Munich under Jurgen Klopp, and then over 10 years later, last season in real life, 2024, they of course lost to Real Madrid at Wembley. So they'll be hoping that this time they can get their hands on the trophy, but it would be a fairy tale season for Stoke City if we could win our first ever European competition. Well, actually our second after winning the Conference League, but our first Champions League. And the skipper, who's been leading this team all season long, has opened the scoring here at the Olympiastadion. And I'm not getting too carried away. There's still a long way to go, but we are one step closer to that trophy. Ball forward to Tell, straight from kickoff. Lovely ball. Oh, what a brilliant interception by Singo. You know, I don't normally include defensive highlights, but you can see how sort of last ditch that was on the slide, and what an important interception. As now we come down the other end with Bay and Oskarsson. Oskarsson takes the ball in his stride. Oskarsson! What a challenge by Singo down one end, and down the other. It's the deadly forward line of Stoke City and the deadly finish of the Iceman that doubles our advantage. The skipper involved as well, as he always is. And Stoke City lead by 2 in the Champions League final. That is Tell. And there's Singo again. My goodness. He's been so good in these 2 cup finals. What an end to the save. As Oskarsson for 3. Oskarsson denied by Cabell. That's nicely worked. Matisse Tell, ball inside, and there is the goal back. Curtis Jones, a Liverpool lad, with it. And Dortmund saying, nah, this game is not done yet. It doesn't really surprise me that the final has been like this. Open and a little bit topsy-turvy, as that sort of sums up our Champions League run this season. Struggled at stages in the league phase. Ended up slipping out of the top 8 on match day 8. And then in the knockouts again, it was a little bit hit and miss. As Elanga does well, oh, it could have gone anywhere off the defender. And Gravenberch does really well. Great run by Gravenberch, and he's dispossessed. My goodness, what a first half here at the Olympiastadion. Leading by 2-1 as we head into the break, but honestly, I'd be very surprised if it stays this way. I know that quite often I'm wrong with my predictions, but there's at least one more goal to come today. Well, that FA Cup final was pretty spectacular, but we did control the game and we were comfortable throughout most of it as well. But this game here has been end-to-end open, and it is anyone's guess who is going to come out on top, as Bay looks to place one. What a brilliant strike by the skipper, and he restores the 2-goal lead. That is a magnificent finish into that top corner. Uses the defender to curl it round him, and you'll see it from this angle as Diaz comes across. He just opens up his body, places it into the top corner, and Stoke City restore their 2-goal lead. As Dortmund need to find a way back into this once again, like they did in that first half. It might come here. Matisse Tell races away. What a stop, Bilal. Jones, and forward to Matisse Tell. Through the gap, Singo pulls him down. And what colour is that card going to be? Well, it's just a yellow for Singo. Dortmund wanting more, but that was dangerous as Matisse Tell ran away. And now the free kick to deal with as well, as Schmidt is over it. Couple of changes for both sides. And it looks as if it might go short. Tell lays it off and Lukeba flies out. Well, on the 4-minute halves, this half is feeling a lot longer than they usually do, as we're trying to hold on to this 2-goal cushion. Dortmund, as you would expect, pushing for a goal, as that swung into Matisse Tell. Brilliant work. And Lawal off the bench does really well. Can't really clear his lines. And Dortmund still have it. Strike comes in, and Dortmund have a goal back. 10 to play, and we are rocking at the back. This is nervy now. Well, this has been one of the greatest Champions League finals, I would say. It's been an absolute thriller, and Dortmund are hunting a goal to take it to extra time, and they found it. Moukoko off the bench. I cannot believe it. What a final. 3-3 here at the Olympiastadion, and Dortmund go absolutely wild. From 3-1 down, they've fought back to 3-3. And that's going to do it as well. We're heading to extra time, and you say that Dortmund maybe just have the upper hand with the momentum heading into the extra 30. Cracking game here. Honestly, one of the best Champions League finals I have ever played on the channel. And with 10 to play, we had a 2-goal advantage. That has been completely wiped out. Well, now I am feeling very nervy. Oh, how a game of football can change. As Curtis Jones pinches it, and Adingra off the bench finds Moukoko. And Moukoko to Matisse Tell. Rigby gets something on it. Still Dortmund have it. Rigby can't get there. Tell into the middle. Moukoko off the woodwork, as it should really be 4-3. And Adingra, ball swung into the back post, and Bilal just about keeps it out. Sensio heads the corner away, and now Fink can't get away from Matisse Tell. No. Jaden Oosterwoud off the woodwork again. Oh my goodness. This Champions League final just gets crazier and crazier, as Oskarsson to Clemens. Can he be the hero? Clemens Fink didn't get hold of it, and Kerbal pushes it behind. End-to-end stuff as Dortmund hit the post twice in a matter of minutes. And now Bay into Lukeba. Lukeba on the left foot, denied by Cabell again. And Oscarson can't squeeze it home. What on earth is going on in this final? Is there to be a winner? Or are we destined for another Champions League penalty shootout? In what has been a crazy run to the final, we've had 2 shootout victories. And we could be set for another as Clemens Fink finds the Iceman. There's the skipper. Bay to win it! With 10 to play. Stoke City restore their lead after being pegged back. And it's the skipper with a Champions League final hat-trick. Well, this is pretty much it now. As Dortmund come forward. You can stay with me for the final 2 or 3 minutes. If we get that ball and we hold on to it, it is ours. Swung in. Lukeba gets his head to it, and that should be that. As Oscarson, still Oscarson, and Clements, was he onside? No, but it's probably not going to matter. This has been incredible, man. What a final. And as it goes long, Lewis Skelly heads clear, and there it is. I need to catch my breath, because that is utterly ridiculous. What an end to the season. And I'm going to say it, guys. There is no topping this. What a final. And I think, well, I know that is going to be the end of the save. Probably my favourite save that I have done on YouTube on FIFA or FC. I have absolutely loved this. And this just seems like such a fitting way to end it off. A hat-trick in the final for the skipper, one of the OGs. Been here for all 6 seasons since we took over the team. He's lifted the Premier League, the FA Cup, and he scored a hat-trick in the final of the Champions League to put those red and white ribbons on Europe's elite. And after winning the Conference League last year, he took us into the Champions League, and in our first year in the competition, Stoke City are your Champions League winners. Well, as we get back to the menu, my goodness, those 2 finals alone have enough highlights to fill an episode, but we will close out by just doing a bit of an overview. We've already seen the FA Cup final, of course, but for the Champions League, 4-3 in the final, and you've got to feel for Dortmund as well. On home soil in Berlin at the Olympiastadion, they were 3-1 down, pulled it back to 3-3 with almost the last kick of the game, forced extra time to go on and lose it regardless. But I mean, what a season for Stoke. Of course, Premier League champions as well, and we nearly won the quadruple. I don't think I've ever done that in a CM save on YouTube, but we lost the League Cup final to City. And honestly, guys, I don't think it gets any better than this. Where do we go if we were to go into next season? Where do we go from here? We'll do a full roundup in a moment. Let's take a look at the other European competitions where it was AC Milan winning the Conference League. Had some big teams in it this year, as Milan knocked out Valencia. You would have fancied those 2 to reach the final, but faced each other in the final 4. And Milan ran out pretty comfortable winners in the Conference League in the end. As for the Europa League, there were some strong teams in the quarterfinals, including 2 English sides. But West Ham were knocked out by the German Stuttgart on penalties. What a surprise. Athletic Club were knocked out by Arsenal in the semis, as United have done in real life, and they took on the French side Nice in the final. But it was the Gunners who won the Europa League. I think they've won a Champions League in this save, and definitely at least one Premier League, and now adding a Europa League to the collection as well. And of course, for the Champions League, I just want a quick little recap. Of course, we finished 10th and dropped out of the top 8 in the final match day. Went into the playoffs where we defeated Marseille. That was pretty late on as well. Then in the last 16, of course, we faced Bayer Leverkusen, where thanks to a red card in Germany, we were quite lucky and ended up with a comfortable progression. In the quarterfinals, it was Chelsea. We won the home leg 2-0, lost the away leg 2-0, and went to the spot kicks at Stamford Bridge, where we won 5-4. Similar story in the semi-finals, but this time it was a 3-2 win on penalties, and I thought we might be destined for pens once again in the final, but the skipper stepping up late on with 10 minutes to play to win the Champions League trophy for Stoke City. And guys, I already think this episode's going to be pretty long with those two crazy finals. So what you'll be seeing now is a little snippet of the top 8 of all of the other leagues. I'm not going to go through all of them in any detail. If you want to see one, you can pause, take a look at the top 8 standings. The main ones that really stood out for me were Roma winning the Serie A. That's really interesting. Fair play to them, winning it by a single point, with Inter Milan, who were Champions League semi-finalists, finishing in 5th. And also, my boy Jude Thomas, the young youth lad that we had in Spain, absolutely ripping it up, as Osasuna finishing in 3rd place. What a couple of seasons he had with Osasuna playing in La Liga and the Champions League. But we're going to do one final look at the squad, as it is going to be the final look. It will be a little bit more in depth at the key players, and then we will close out the episode and the save for the last time. Alright then guys, I'm going to try not to take too long on this, as I know I can ramble, but if you do want to just quickly jump to the outro, then you can see the timestamp on screen now. But I'm going to go through the key players, and no one was more important than this man, Bilal. You can see the full range of stats here as we managed to kind of balance out his stats, but 67 appearances in all competitions. He kept 20 clean sheets in the Premier League and 28 in all competitions, as he reached 88 overall at just 21 years of age. If not the main man of this save, then definitely one of the key players and one of the 3 musketeers with Bay and Oscarson. But as for Jordan Boz, we picked him up relatively early on. I think it was season 3, and he had a really good season with 1 goal and 2 assists. Lewis Skelly as well, good rotation between these two. I maybe would have looked, if we were doing one more year, at bringing in a new left back, but pretty happy with both of those guys. We've got loads of youngsters out on loan who obviously aren't going to make it. As for the central defenders, we know that Singo and Lukeba were brought in this season to really bolster out that defence, and you can see they played the most games out of everyone, and they were both absolutely superb. We actually didn't keep as many clean sheets with Lukeba in the team as I would have thought, but the two of them were just fantastic. And towards the end of the season, in those 2 cup finals, Singo and Lukeba were fantastic. We've got Bash, who was signed, I think, in Season 2 or Season 3, still here. And Lawal, one of the OGs, still made 16 appearances this season. I did bring him on a fair bit, because he's still pretty solid, to be fair. And yeah, been here since the start. One of the OGs. I absolutely love him. Some more youth players out on loan who have grown pretty nicely. Quick word on Max Aarons. He's only 80 overall and one of the sort of lower starting overalls in the starting 11. But my goodness, what a player he was for this team. We brought him in when we sold Issa Kabore. Again, I think that was season 3 or maybe 4. And my goodness, what a signing he proved to be. He played higher than an 80 overall player. But yeah, full range of stats here. Just absolutely fantastic up and down that right-hand side. And sharing the game time with Joel Rigby this season. And yeah, he definitely probably would have started a little bit more next year, as he was the long-term successor down that right-hand side. Again, some more good youngsters. In midfield, we had, again, loads of options. McTominay did really well this year coming in. 2 goals for him, and he featured quite a lot in all competitions for us. I really liked the experienced McTominay. Ryan Gravenberch, of course, was brought in as the star man in midfield, and with 2 goals and 2 assists, it wasn't really what he was brought in for, but he and Diomande in that midfield broke up so much, and both in their prime at 28, they complemented each other fantastically, and they were just absolutely superb. You can see Gravenberch's full range of stats, and he was just absolutely fantastic next to Diomande. Danilo went down with an injury. I think it was a 3 or 4 month knock, so didn't see him too much at the end of the campaign, but again, pretty solid midfield option. Borja Sainz didn't feature as much this season, just 4 goals and 8 assists, but we did share the game time out on that left-hand side with Haraldson and Clemens Fink as well. Sarmiento barely featured, but again, not one of the originals, but one of the players that we signed pretty early on. Sidibe grew pretty nicely in the save, featured more last year in the Conference League and only made 4 appearances this campaign. But here for the squad registration, Mihaly, another one of those players that is a real kind of leader in this team. You think of him when you think of Stoke City. I think he was signed in Series 1 or maybe Series 2. And he's been with us the whole time, and he is just an absolute hero. We love Mihaly. Jude Thomas, the man I mentioned out on loan at Osasuna, what a season they had in Spain. Again, Munoz looks pretty decent. Haraldson was a great pickup this season. I got more out of him than I expected to. 8 goals and 13 assists. He was brought in as more of a squad player, but ended up playing a lot from that left-hand side with Sainz struggling for form, and he did really, really well. The Ice Boys, Haraldson and Oscarson, had a great link-up. As for the skipper, again, with Bilal and Oscarson, one of the star players of this save, 34 goals and 30 assists is just absolutely outrageous. Up to 88 overall. And as I say, the 3 Musketeers, Bilal, Bay and Oscarson. And what a season for all 3 of them in the final one of the save. Full range of stats for Bay as well. And every season, I would just say, his best season for us. He got better year on year and led from the front. What a hero, Bae Jun Ho. Buchanan was pretty decent as a freebie this season, like McTominay. And Elanga, 10 goals and 16 assists. A really good campaign for the Swede off that right-hand side. And again, we had lots of competition for places. Million had a good season as well, 5 goals and 6 assists in limited minutes. But everyone just seemed to contribute. We had some more good growth with Chekamani and Pratt. Unfortunately, we won't be able to use them. Clements Fink, I definitely think would have got quite a bit of game time next year, up to 83 overall. Only the 2 goals and 3 assists. It is the area of his game that he needed to improve on. But this guy definitely had the potential to reach the high 80s. And yeah, one of those Austrian crop that we saw quite a lot of this season. Asensio didn't feature much, retiring at the end of the season, although he did pop up with a couple of goals and was really important for us last year. Warner, another of the Austrian crop, just 2 goals and 1 assist, but not quite reached the heights of Clements Fink. And yeah, he missed a couple of great chances in front of goal. He still had a bit of work to do, but a decent young Austrian and a decent squad player. We never got to use Kiko, which is a real shame, because he looked like he was going to be fantastic out the academy. Look at the raw pace. But unfortunately, just never got to use him. As for our strikers, I'm going to save one man right until the end, but Ward grew pretty nicely out on loan. Tesgale actually handed in a transfer request, but would have been staying as he's one of the OGs and here for the squad registration. And as for the 2 Austrians, again, not too many goals for Baumgartner and Kaufmann, but they were decent players to call upon, especially when Oscarson went down with that 4-week injury towards the end of the campaign. 2 goals and 2 assists for Kaufmann, 1 goal, 2 assists for Baumgartner. But again, they're both good enough to call upon when we needed to if the Iceman was unavailable. And speaking of the Iceman, what a campaign. 53 goals and 25 assists. He and Bay were just absolutely phenomenal. He reached 91 overall right at the end of the campaign. And I'm going to say he is the best real-life player I think I've used in FC25. It's maybe close between him and Bay, but my God, this guy was just so deadly when you get him in front of goal. If you look at the 2 of them, unbelievable stats between Bay and the Iceman. And of course, Bilal has to be included. The 3 Musketeers, the 3 main men. And as we take one final look at the team as well, it was absolutely fantastic. We built such a good squad here at Stoke City, and I think that is why it is probably my favourite save that I've done in a long time, if not ever, on this channel. I really enjoyed the growth of the team that we made together. But that is going to do it, guys. End of the season and end of the save as we see the trophy parade. Those 3 red and white ribbon trophies on front of the open top bus. And honestly, I mean, I've said it loads, but what a way to end out the save. I don't think I could have written a better script myself. And yeah, there's not really too much else to say, guys. We will be back with a new save very soon. I already know who it's going to be with, so that will be out very, very shortly, as I'm looking forward to starting a new challenge. And this feels like the fairy tale ending for Stoke City. I'm going to stop rambling. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will catch you for the start of a brand new series very soon. Thank you guys so much. Peace.